I've imported tabular data from a CSV file, and I'm now going to use CSS to make the table look more presentable. If you want to follow along, you can find a copy of table_style.html in the Using Tables for Structured Data folder of the course assets. Before starting on the CSS, I want to make a couple of changes to the HTML. I want the first row and first column to be table headers. So select that first column, and in the Property Inspector select Header, and then select the first row and select Header. Also need to add a caption, need to do that in split view, and the caption needs to go immediately after the opening table tag. So insert a new line and the caption tag. The caption will be Average Weather in London 1981-2010. And between the two dates I want to add an HTML entity for an n dash, so that's ampersand nd, and that gives me n dash from the code hints 2010 and closing caption tag. Close split view. There's the caption at the top. I'll use CSS to move it to the bottom. In the tag selector you can see that I've assigned the ID weather to the table. So I need to create a selector for that. So in the selectors pane, click the plus button and hash weather. And I'm going to give it a width of 480 pixels. I also want to get rid of the default spacing between all the table cells, and to do that I need to use the border collapse property, which is in the border section of the properties pane. There it is right at the top, and the first icon is collapse. You don't see any difference in design view, but if you turn on live view or put it in a browser, then you will see a difference. There is no space between the table cells. And I'm going to add a border. The color will be hash 002F2F. The width will be 1 pixel. And the border style will be solid. I'm also going to add a background color to the table. That will be hash E6 E2AF. One more property for this style rule, that's caption side. It's not listed in the properties pane, so click the plus button at the top right of the properties pane, and then in that field that opens, start typing caption side. Get it there from code hints, and in that field you need to type bottom. And then if we turn on live view, you can see the caption has moved to the bottom. The other thing to notice is that the border around the table goes only around the table, not around the table cells. Let's make some stylistic changes to the caption, so we need a new selector for that, which will be caption. And in the text section, I want to set the font variant to small caps, the font weight to bold, and the font size to 18 pixels. Also like to add a little bit of extra space above the caption, so we'll add a little bit of padding. And there we are in the layout section. Need to scroll down for padding, and we'll give it 5 pixels of padding all around. Now I want to fix the column widths. Simple way to do that. This first column is th cells, so I can use the first child pseudo class to target just the th cells, which are the first child in each table row. So let's create a selector for that. th colon first child, and we need to go to the layout section, and the width I will make 16%. And these are all table cells, so I can create a style rule for that. td, I'll make the width 21%, And I also want to tidy up the alignment of the table cells. At the moment there isn't a way to align according to the decimal point, but what we can do is to go to the text section and then text align right. Now admittedly that looks pretty awful, but if we go back up to the layout section, then in padding start scrubbing with padding right, we can then move them visually into a nice position, and that looks pretty good to me. Let's make the table headers look a little bit different. New style rule, new selector, TH. Give them a background color. That will be hash 046380. So we now need to change the color of the text. That's in the text section. The color for that will be hash EFECCA. And we'll also make this month align with the top there, so also in the text section go down to vertical align and make it top. Almost done. For ease of reading, let's give each alternate row a different color. We do that with the nth child pseudo class, so it will be TR colon nth child, then in the parenthesis even. We need to have a closing parenthesis there, and it's a background color that we need, so the background color will be hash EFECCA. And one final touch, we want a little bit more breathing room at the top and bottom of each table cell, so a new style rule for TH, TD, so that will affect both heading and ordinary cells. And in the layout section, in padding, 3 pixels on the top and 3 pixels on the bottom. So, although I started with a very bland table, I've made it far more attractive and readable with just a handful of style rules. I added a caption immediately after the opening table tag in code view. I then gave the table a background color, and to remove the gaps between the cells I set the table's border collapse property to collapse. I also used the nth child pseudo class to highlight alternate rows, and the caption was moved to the bottom of the table with the caption side property.